mergem să ne interesăm cum se poate veni în Noua Zeelandă. Sunt Remus și sunt cu Mohamed.
We offer a whole range of services that we can help you out with any kind of visa applications that you want to come here for. We're having a special deal just for the followers who are watching this channel. We're more than happy to give you a non-obligatory free 10 minutes phone call just to discuss how we can help you. And then we're happy to give you a 10% off our legal fees as well if you want us to help you out in this process as well. Guide you from A to Z of the process, so you just have to not worry about it.
I'm very happy that your business can do this for Romanian people.
And rich culture and history that you guys have. What you need to do to actually get a work visa will be to get a job here in New Zealand first. So step one is to apply for a job. You need to be of good health as well. So you need to show police certificates. You'll get a 5-year work visa, meaning they can work for any employer in any location, in any role. Wow, this is really exciting. I'm really happy that I get to share all this information with everyone. Resident visa application, because that gives you indefinite work rights. All you need is basically a job offer to work. We will act on their behalf as their representatives in making all this application, and then we'll figure out what exactly do we need. It's just a matter of time before you can then apply for a permanent resident at 2 years and then citizenship at 5 years. And I hear that family values is also a very big thing within the Romanian culture as well. You go to your hospitals, it's basically free because you're part of the public healthcare system. Maternity services in New Zealand is free if you've got a visa for 5 years or more.
Who pays for the surgery?
You don't pay for the surgery.
You don't pay anything?
Yes.
The ACC pays everything?
Correct. It's difficult to find that kind of system anywhere around the world. The government increased all the fees. Like, it's just some doubled, some tripled. It's a lot of money. You have to be at least 55 years or below for you to apply for residence.
When you reach the age of 65,
yes,
you can stop work, and monthly you can have like amount of money from the government.
Yes. You can only buy land after you've achieved residence. Even if it's advice which you don't want to hear, we have to tell you that because that's just our obligations as lawyers.
Okay, thank you, Mohamed.
Yeah,
it was very nice and very, very good time here with you.
Yep.
Vă salutăm cu drag din Noua Zeelandă.
Salut!
După cum am promis, mergem să ne interesăm, pentru că mulți ați cerut aceleași lucruri, cum se poate veni în Noua Zeelandă, cum puteți să imigrați, cum puteți să obțineți o viză de muncă, cum puteți lucra în Noua Zeelandă. Sincer, v-am răspuns, habar n-am, nu mă pricep, nu e domeniul meu. Dar am promis că o să merg să mă interesez și astăzi am plecat la Christchurch, unde o să mergem la o firmă de avocatură serioasă, să vedem exact la obiect cerințele care sunt necesare legal pentru a veni în Noua Zeelandă și a lucra. Cei care aveți de gând să veniți sau în cap că puteți veni în Noua Zeelandă și să lucrați la mine sau la altul ilegal, adică fără contract, așa ceva nu se poate. Nimeni nu vă angajează în Noua Zeelandă ilegal. Puteți lucra numai și numai dacă îndepliniți condițiile să obțineți viza de muncă. Am sunat ieri în Christchurch la 5 firme. Au fost fie ocupați, fie a intrat mesageria, fie erau în concedii de maternitate, concedii de boală, sau a fost imposibil de comunicat cu ei. Mai că cum și așa să vedem dacă se poate mai încolo să mai sunați, nu știu cum. Astea, altele la care mergem acum, foarte amabilă, foarte la obiect, foarte deschisă, foarte profesională. Cu așa firmă este plăcut să lucrezi, unde sunt oamenii tratați bine, pentru că plătiți când ajungeți să apelați la firme de avocatură să vă ajute în procesul de imigrare și vă așteptați să fiți tratați cum trebuie, să fie deschiși la comunicare în special. Deci acum mergem să petrecem câteva ore la firma aceasta, unde o să ne întâlnim cu Mohamed, unul din avocații care lucrează la acest sediu. Au 3 sedii mari în Christchurch. Să-l descoasem pe acest avocat să vedem cât știe el și cum vă poate ajuta ca să veniți în Noua Zeelandă. Urmăriți aproape pentru că este pe conductă. Deci suntem în fața la Pier Law. Este o companie de avocatură din Christchurch care are 3 oficii foarte mari și sunt una din cele mai serioase firme din Christchurch pe care am ales-o să vă recomand pentru problemele de imigrații în Noua Zeelandă. Am ales-o dintre foarte multe pentru că sunt de calitate, sunt oameni deosebiți și acordă atenție la fiecare persoană în parte. Sunt cu Mohamed. Bine v-am găsit. We are here to talk about the Romanians who wants to come in New Zealand. Will be so kind to show us a bit your business.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, this is where we are. Pier Law lawyers. We're based in Northwood in Christchurch. Come on in and let's have a look.
All right, let's go inside. Let's go inside. We follow you.
Okay.
Deci am condus din Timaru până aici 3 ore doar ca să facem acest film.
So we're going up the stairs here.
Pier Law.
Yeah, we've got for handicapped people as well. We're all inclusive.
We take the stairs. Mergem pe trepte în sus. Joy ne filmează frumușel ca de obicei.
So we're open every day from 8:30 a.m. to about 5 p.m. That's our business hours.
Right, so normal hours.
Yeah. And
A bit earlier than other people.
Yeah. We're actually a full-fledged law firm as well. So we don't just do immigration.
Right.
We do property, we do estates, we do relationship property, commercial law. We have a whole range. So we don't just help you out with your immigration, we can do other types of services for you as well. Yep. So we just moved into the office like a couple of years ago. This is our firm logo. And as you come in here, we're going to the landing of the office. Come through, I'll show you.
Okay, let's see.
This is our landing here. We've got our receptionist. Molly is usually here, but Molly has disappeared.
Molly este recepționista
Yeah.
de la birou, care cred că a ieșit să-și facă cafeaua. Yeah, maybe coffee break.
Yeah, maybe a
Coffee break.
Yeah.
And here are all your offices.
Yeah, so these are the meeting rooms that we have. We've got 3 meeting rooms.
Meeting rooms.
Come and have a look what the meeting rooms are. So this is where we book our time with our clients to come and meet them, to discuss all their legal matters, immigration. Yeah, and we've got different sizes of meeting rooms as well.
Let's go around.
Let's go into the event space. All right, so come through here. This is our event space.
And what's here?
These are all the names of the lawyers and all their business cards.
All these lawyers works for Pier Law?
Yes, all of them work for Pier Law, all across the 3 branches that we have.
Deci, ia uite câți avocați sunt aici, fiecare specializați pe diferite segmente.
That's correct. Each and everyone will have their own specialty and their specialization of what law they're practicing in.
Do you understand Romanian?
No, I just couldn't make up a little
Exactly this I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think Romanian is quite an easy to understand language.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to English a little bit.
Yeah. Quite a few common words. All right, let's see around.
This is our photocopying room. And we've got
Hello.
our receptionist, Molly, our star.
I know.
We were wondering where is the...
I know. I was printing out all of these.
Okay, all right.
I know all the fun stuff.
All right. Have fun.
Yeah.
Thank you. Molly later.
Oh, nice place here.
Event space. So this is where we come to meet for our big meetings. All the 3 branches will come here to meet up. Every now and then we'll have meetings, we'll have events. Like over Christmas, we had a firm function here. Sometimes when we host our clients, when we host other kind of third parties like banks and all that, we meet them here as well. So this is a huge event space that we use every now and then.
Great.
Yeah.
Maybe we can use that. I see a very nice setup for
Yeah.
lighting and use
That's
for
right.
our movie.
We're active on TikTok.
Right.
We just reached 10,000 followers on TikTok.
Great.
And that's the backdrop that I use for my TikTok videos.
Okay, please provide us the links for your TikTok and your all
sure.
the accounts.
Yeah. TikTok.com/Pier Law.
Right,
Immigration.
right.
Yeah, but you can find the link in the description.
I'm
below.
gonna put them on the video.
Great.
Thank you.
Do follow us on TikTok for all the latest updates. And every Monday at 12:30 p.m. I host a free TikTok live Q&A session.
Right.
So I think 12:30 p.m. is probably about 1:30 a.m. in Romania on a Sunday night. So if you're up on that Sunday night for some reason and you want to join me on our TikTok live session, go ahead. Feel free to ask any questions. I'll be able to answer them as well. But every now and then I do pop in to do a live session when there are changes in the rules so that we can discuss more about it. So if you catch me there, then you can ask questions as well.
Great,
So
great,
we're very active there.
great,
Yeah.
great. See? Answer question. Întrebați. Intrați live și întrebați dacă aveți ceva. Sunt Remus și sunt cu Mohamed la o firmă de avocatură din Christchurch, Pier Law, unde am venit după ce am sunat la vreo 5-6 firme și ei au fost cei care ne-au primit. Și vreau să spun mulțumesc. Thank you very much for having us here.
No, it's a pleasure. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Am venit ca să facem un scurt film despre ceea ce v-am promis la mulți, cum să veniți în Noua Zeelandă. Se poate să veniți, ce trebuie să aveți cerințe și ceea ce Noua Zeelandă vă cere ca să obțineți o slujbă, o rezidență, un viitor în această țară. Haideți să vedem, haideți să-l descoasem pe Mohamed ce ne poate oferi. Deci, Mohamed,
Yes.
we'll talk in English now.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy that you accept to have this meeting with us. I'm very happy that your business can do this for Romanian people.
Yeah, no worries at all. It is our extreme pleasure to have you and Joy here. We're honored to be approached by you and your team and your YouTube channel, and I'm really excited because I've learned quite a lot of Romanian culture already in my short time here, and I'm really looking forward to sharing all the information that I have with you and with everyone who's watching as well. Yeah.
Do you know something about the Romania and Romanian people?
Going back when I was younger, watching Sesame Street, Dracula. That's from Romania.
yeah, big name. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's the most authentic thing that I kind of relate Romania to. But apart from that, I'm a big football fan.
Oh yeah, we are too.
So I love watching soccer, and I know there are a lot of very good Romanian football players out there.
Like?
Haji, rings a bell. 60 already.
60 and all.
Wow.
Yeah. The time flies.
Time flies. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was not too long ago when I was still young watching the World Cup when he was playing. So that was fantastic.
Yeah.
So that kind of sticks to me, and I think what draws me to Romania would be like the architecture and superb kind of buildings and rich culture and history that you guys have. Yeah, so I think you can't really compare that to New Zealand. Like, you guys have way more than that.
It's a mix of old and new. Like, it's crazy. Like, so many old castles and new buildings, and in Romania it's one of the biggest building in the world. Actually, the second one after Pentagon.
Wow, okay.
Like the biggest, it's right in Bucharest, in capital of Romania.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go visit one day. And it's so beautiful, and it stands till today, So, yeah, really, really impressive. Yeah, I hear much like New Zealanders, Romanians, they love their rugby as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They are, I must say, we are, I'm not big, but they are big people. Big people, and we love our food.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I love food as well. So I'm pretty sure because of the close proximity with Romania and Italy that you may have some kind of similarities.
Very similar language, Romania and Italy, that's correct,
But where you're situated, I think, there's a lot of melting pot of a bit of influences here and there, which makes Romania kind of unique in itself.
Yes, very true, very true.
When I was younger, I used to collect, those kind of small erasers with the country flags.
Yeah.
And I was really proud to have Romania as well.
Yeah.
And the colors there, so yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of history with the flag. For a while we had like a hole in the middle. Now it's covered something else. Anyway, yeah, rich history, rich culture.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see. Can Romanian people come in New Zealand?
Of course, yes, definitely. So, as a Romanian national, you are actually able to come here to New Zealand as a visa waiver national. So it allows you to come into the country for a visit for a period of 3 months, just based on your nationality as a Romanian. Yeah. So this allows you to come into the country for holiday, if you've got family and friends here, to visit. So, and what I like to add also, with the recent changes in immigration just last month, if you are working like in a field of IT or finance where you can work remotely, you can now come to New Zealand on the NZ ETA, which Romanians can get, and actually work remotely for your overseas company as well. So you get to enjoy holiday, enjoy the scenery here in New Zealand, but at the same time you're working and you're earning income. So you get like the best of both worlds. So yeah.
So visa waiver means they don't need a visa basically.
Yeah, that's right.
They just fly, get the ticket, fly, and they get the visa when they arrive at the airport.
Correct. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. You need to make an NZ ETA application online. Yeah. So you need to make an application first.
Right.
But with that, you're just free to come. And these applications are very quick.
Right.
You can get it like within a day and all that.
Nice.
So you don't have to wait months and months for a visa, difficult kind of visa requirements and all that. So it's simple and easy. Yeah.
What about coming here to work, like with a work visa?
Yeah.
What's your advice in that field?
Okay. So with a work visa here in New Zealand, what you need to do to actually get a work visa will be to get a job here in New Zealand first. That's always the first step. Here in New Zealand, if you're wanting to work for a company in New Zealand, you'll have to be working for an accredited employer. So these are businesses which have achieved accreditation status with INZ, and these are the businesses that can actually support you on an accredited employer work visa. Get a job with an accredited employer, and that allows you to then come on the work visa. Yeah.
Excuse me to interrupt. What means to be accredited? It's like a extra safety?
Yeah. So New Zealand really takes care of people, whether you're local, whether you're coming from abroad. So they want to make sure that if you're coming here to work, you're working for a company that's legitimate, that takes care of its migrant workers. So companies need to get that accreditation status where Immigration New Zealand actually looks into that company. Have you got enough money to support people and workers? Have you been complying to immigration law? Have you got any history of non-compliance? If you get migrant workers, are you going to be taking care of them? So that's the check that Immigration New Zealand needs to do on companies first. Once they get the accreditation status, then they're able to go and hire from abroad. Yeah. So it's a good thing because it's like a safety measure. You're kind of like protected in that way because you don't come into a country knowing that you're going to be abused or whatnot. So New Zealand really takes care of its people, migrants, and people here as well. Yeah.
What can I say? That's good.
Yeah.
From an employee point of view, it's good to be safe when they start working.
So I think if you're interested in coming to New Zealand for a job, what you need to know as a person wanting to look for a job is where are your strengths as a candidate. If you feel that you've got skills or experience in a field where you can benefit to New Zealand, then go for it, take the advantage and go for that. Because here in New Zealand, there are areas and industries where we need people all the time. Yeah, I can just name a few off the top of my head. We need teachers. We really, really need teachers to come here because we don't have teachers at all. We need people in the healthcare industry. We need nurses, we need support workers, we need doctors. We need people in the IT field as well. We don't have enough people in that industry. So find out what your skills and your experience is, and then look into New Zealand to see, will there be a shortage or a gap that you need? Because if there is, then it's just about you being aggressive, I think being proactive, and trying to look for that job or that position.
How open are New Zealand businesses to employ overseas workers?
I think that will depend from industry to industry, really. But there are certain industries where they need workers from abroad because they just cannot find anyone here in New Zealand. Farming, for instance, which I know you have experience with.
Agriculture in like the whole. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Not just farming, but we've got like agriculture where we need like, people to come fruit picking as well. We need lots of people in that field. If you're working in like the technical side of things where you're doing like industries work, where you're doing welding, or you're doing like metal fabrication, those are the type of manufacturing roles that we need here in New Zealand as well, plenty of those. So it's about identifying which industry needs you and then making the application there. Yeah.
From my field, I can say that it's a big demand of dairy workers to work in dairy farms. Dairy industry is huge in New Zealand, and yes, I know it's a constant demand to fill up the positions because
there's not enough people. There's not enough people. Yeah.
And also in the meat industry, working with the sheep, beef, and
exactly
lamb.
Yeah. They need a lot of people in food processing plants as well. Yeah, plenty. Yeah.
I think that here are good
food production.
Good opportunities in food production.
Yeah. Generally, where New Zealand has a lot of resource, like in dairy farming, in food, in anything that New Zealand needs to export to other countries, we need people to work in those fields because that is a very big high demand, and there's always a need for New Zealand to keep on exporting these kind of products abroad too. Yeah.
Okay, so beside the visitor visa, which Romanian they don't need, okay, we have the working visa.
Yes, correct.
What can you detail? Can you explain a bit more about the working visa? Any requirements or any particular demands which New Zealand wants from the Romanian people?
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's plenty to go through. Yeah.
And
more than happy
then
to share.
we can jump to the a bit more advanced residence visa or other visa which you are more familiar with.
Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah. More than happy to share all that.
Thank you.
So I think before I go into the specifics of what are the requirements for the work visa, here the category that most people apply their work visas on, it's called the accredited employer work visa. Yeah, just in its name itself, you see accredited, meaning the company needs to be accredited first, then you can work on it.
Yeah, it's serious.
Yeah, serious company.
Yeah, serious company.
So here in New Zealand, we need to know that they have this obsession of like classifying and organizing everything. So occupations here in New Zealand, they are kind of graded from skill level 1 to skill level 5. Yeah. Skill level 1 being the highest skill roles. You got your doctors, your lawyers, your engineers in skill level 1 to 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5. 4 and 5 are considered low skill positions here in New Zealand. If you're going for a particular job in New Zealand, if you're going for a high skill position, there'll be different requirements. If you're going for low skill jobs, there'll be different requirements as well. So I'll speak about the high skill ones first. Generally, you need to have a minimum of at least 3 years relevant work experience in the field, or you need to have the relevant qualification. So it's either 3 years work experience or the relevant qualification here. The minimum qualification is here in the New Zealand standard, it's called the NZQF level 4. So those are the trade certificates that you go to after you finish your high school. Yep. So 3 years of that, or you have the NZQF level 4 qualification. Either one will get you the sufficient requirement to get the accredited employer work visa. That's one. Apart from that, you need to be of good health as well. You cannot be any burden to the New Zealand healthcare system. You need to meet the health requirements. You also need to meet the good character requirements as well. So you need to show police certificates from the country that you're in, or any countries you live for more than 5 years. Yeah. So those are the requirements for applying for a work visa. And the exciting part about this visa category is, which they just announced a couple of months back, prior to this, you needed to be paid at 29.66 an hour, right? To qualify for the accredited employer work visa, you need to be paid at that rate, minimum. Yeah, you cannot go lower than that. But the government has realized that that's not a good way of actually doing things, because that's driving inflationary pressures up.
That's right.
So they've announced that from March this year, they're going to do away with that minimum requirement. So you don't have to be paid at 29.66 an hour anymore now. You just need to be paid at least the minimum wage in New Zealand, which is $24.15 or 50 cents, if I'm not wrong, 24 something. And that role has to be paid at the market rate. Yeah. So I think this is a good move from the government, because then, you know, companies are not forced to pay workers at a 29.66. They're actually free to pay them at a lower rate, depending on what the market requires at a point of time. So this is going to open up more jobs, especially jobs where you cannot get people to be paid at that rate. Maybe like cafes, or people in the hospitality industry, in meat processing. Paying them at 29.66 is very high. So removing that will actually give them some relief. Yeah. So that's the new change that's coming up as well. You don't actually need to be paid at that rate. But yeah, so I think those are the more important requirements that you kind of need to meet to be successful in the accredited employer work visa. So those are for like high skill positions. If you are successful in getting that, you'll get a 5-year work visa.
5 years?
It's 5 years work visa.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's enough time for you to come here, get settled, see whether you enjoy the work here, whether you like living life here, and then eventually we can speak about residence, which I will touch on with Remus later on.
Yeah, like many Romanians, they don't want to come here only for a temporary job. They want to have a life and build up a future. So they'll be looking to get a residence and a citizenship in the future, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, okay.
So what's the process here?
Yeah, cool. I think before we go into that, I just want to touch on a little bit more on the work visa.
Yes.
So if you're working in a high skill position, skill level 1, 2, and 3, and you're paid at 80% of the median wage, which is about slightly over $26 an hour, you can support your partners and your children on visas. Yeah, that's very important if you're planning to migrate with your family. And I make this distinction because if you are working in a low-skilled role, the level 4 and 5 that we were talking about, you won't have the ability to bring your partners or your children into the country as well. So you need to be strategic and think, if I'm wanting to bring my family members and migrate here permanently, am I on the right visa and the right occupation, which will allow me to bring my partners and my children in as well? Yeah, so that's very important to find out as well.
It is.
Yeah, because you don't want to get, I'm happy I got a job offer. I actually had one client as well who said, I'm happy I got a job offer. Can you please help me process my partner and my children's visas too? I look at it, I'm like, this is actually a low skill position. It's a cleaning position. You won't be able to bring your partners and your children. And that's the whole disappointment, So it's very important to get the right advice right at the start and make sure you have all this information before you make your decision to come. Yeah.
And like advice for the Romanian, because New Zealand, it's so far away. You can't get more far away than New Zealand. Come with the family. You won't be able to travel every 2-3 months to see them. Come with the family in the beginning, set a life here and have a future here. Don't split in half, no.
Yeah, because just to expand a little bit more on that as well, when you're able to bring your partners here on that high-skilled job, you can actually they can come in on a partner visa, which gives them open work rights, meaning they can work for any employer in any location in any role. Yeah, so that's useful because you can actually get your partner to go into the workforce and help earn some money for the family as well, and you're not limited to any kind of employer too. So that's, I guess, one of the draws of being able to secure a job in the high skill kind of sector. because you can come and work and your partner can come in and have the work rights. And when you're able to bring your children in, they can come here and be domestic students, meaning you don't have to pay really high international student fees. You're paying domestic student rates. And some schools...
Which are how much?
So some schools don't even need payment at all. You come in for free or just give me a donation. Unless you want to go to the top international schools where like Christ College, for instance, you have to pay $20,000 of fees, then that's a bit mad.
Like a... Yeah.
But yeah, the typical either schools, they don't actually come for free. Yeah.
We'll talk about a bit later about what New Zealand can offer in a view of schools and health and insurance for the newcomers.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
Let's carry on with the visas.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Yeah. Wow, this is really exciting. I'm really happy that I get to share all this information with everyone.
Thank you.
Okay. So maybe we can talk about residence now.
Yeah.
Shall we talk about residence? Okay. So we've been talking about work visas. So coming here temporarily to work, maybe for a duration of 5 years. But if you're wanting to come to settle here in New Zealand, then you need to make that resident visa application, because that gives you indefinite work rights to live here permanently. So there are two broad categories that people usually apply for as skilled migrants. We have the skilled migrant category, which is a 6 points requirement that you need to meet. And we also have the green list requirement. So this is a different type of resident visa category that is based on your occupation, where you are in an occupation which is in demand, in skills in demand, in national demand. I think I'll speak about the first one, the skilled migrant category, and how you can actually get 6 points. So getting 6 points will mean that you can then apply for residence. Baseline requirement to be successful in a resident visa application, you need a job. So you need a job first before you can actually apply for residency. That job then forms the basis of your application, and then we can think about how we can get 6 points to meet the requirements. Here it's a bit technical, so if maybe you need more information, please feel free to get in touch with us so I can give you more information. But generally there are 3 streams in which you can get points for. The first stream would be through your qualifications. So if you've got at least a degree here in New Zealand, and your degree has been assessed with the New Zealand Qualifications Authority to be a level 7 qualification, you can get 3 points. If you get a degree of honours, that's 4 points. If you've got a master's, that's 5 points. And if you've got a PhD, that's 6 points. So that is one of the streams that you can get points for.
Just a question. To get this assessment by the New Zealand Qualification Authority, they have to have all their school papers translated into English when they arrive here.
Correct.
And provide them to the NZQA.
That's correct.
And they assist them and they give you back what level are you with the school.
So you need everything, your academic transcripts, your degree, all translated.
All translated into English and authorized.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Signed off. Well, you know a bit of the, did you go through the process yourself?
No, I've been to Triswan 25 years ago.
Wow.
So many things changed since.
A lot has changed. So that's one way in which you can get points, through your qualification. Okay, so I'll talk about the second stream now. The second stream is about your income, of how much you're paid. If you're paid at 47.41 an hour, you get 3 points. 60 something an hour, you get 5 points.
Okay.
And then if you get paid, the annual rate is about 190 something a year, then you get 6 points. So depending on how much you're paid, you get points for that as well. So the third stream would be points on the basis of your occupation in which you get registration. So for example, if you are an electrician with the Electrician Registration Board, then you can get 3 points. If you're a teacher with a registration from the Teaching Council, then you can get 5 points. So if it's an occupation which requires registration here in New Zealand, then you can claim some points on that as well. So that's the third stream. Qualification, income, and then your professional registration. So you may ask me now, what if I have a degree, 3 points, how do I get the remaining 3 points to get to the 6 points threshold, right? So you can claim additional points by the number of years that you've worked in New Zealand. 1 year of work is 1 point,
Right.
2 years of work is 2 points, and 3 years of work is 3 points.
Right.
Yeah. So with the degree, 3 points, you can then work for 3 years in New Zealand, and then you can get 6 points, which is required for the skilled migrant category. Yeah. Yeah. So that, in a nutshell, just in general, is how you claim points under the skilled migrant category. A lot of numbers, a lot of attributing points here and there. It's quite complicated, but yeah, more than happy to help you guys out if you need some advice on that. The other resident visa category, which is a little more straightforward, where you don't need to think about points and all that, is simply the green list occupations. So these are occupations which are in high demand in New Zealand. All you need is basically a job offer to work, and then you can apply for residence wherever you are in the world. I'll give you an example of a client that I have who's a vet in America. So she's gotten an offer already to work here in New Zealand. She can just apply residence straight away. Yeah. So all you need is a job offer. You need to sign that contract. Then you can apply for residence. Yeah, because that's how in demand these jobs are. You have the opportunity to apply for residence when you're offshore in New Zealand, as long as you've got the job offer already, without thinking about points and whatever else and whatnot. Yeah.
I remember talking about the vets. Romanian university are really good, but still they are not fully recognized here to practice. And in the past, they used to do another 2 years of university to get really
The qualification.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's still the same.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can help them in each field. If someone is a vet or someone is a teacher, when they ask you to use your service, to check for them if their qualification is okay or they need something else.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So we do help, professionals in that position as well. We will act on their behalf as their representatives in making all this application to the New Zealand Teaching Council or the Vet Council or even the Doctors Council, and then we'll figure out what exactly do we need to get to that level to get this registration, because I agree with you, not all jurisdictions are the same. And that's where I feel that maybe New Zealand is a little bit kind of closed off. They're not really open-minded about how people in different jurisdictions.
That's right.
I mean, if you're a doctor, you're a doctor, right?
It's exactly. It's like restricting the growth here with not much logic in it.
Yeah, exactly.
There are very good professionals who have done years and years in university. And they come here and they are asked to repeat again in school exactly what they learned there.
That's right, yeah. I met this Iraqi national who's a heart surgeon in Iraq, working as a taxi driver here in New Zealand, because he just simply cannot get his medical qualifications to be recognized by the New Zealand Medical Council. You could have someone who's dying of a heart issue, but he's working as a taxi driver. I mean, if that is a concern that you have, then we can help you out in trying to find out what is it exactly that you need to get to that level, and whether it's actually worth it for you to actually do all that and sacrifice your entire life, or if there's another way in which you can try and negotiate with the relevant institutes or the bodies, registration boards, councils that you have here in New Zealand. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so that's the green list category. It's more of like a straight pathway based on the occupation that you have and whether you meet the requirements as well. So it's not so complex where you have to count points, get that job offer, have that registration, and then you can make that application offshore.
Yeah, that's more straightforward.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And what about the next step after residence?
Yeah. Okay, so if you've achieved residence and you've got permanent status here, for the first 2 years of you holding the resident status, it's a little bit like a probationary residence. Yeah, so for the first 2 years of holding residence, You have indefinite rights to work, to live, and to study, but you have limited travel conditions for the first 2 years. Meaning, travel conditions, they're basically your ability to enter in and out of the country freely. Yep, you can do that freely for 2 years, but at the end of the 2 years of your residency, that's when that travel conditions expire. So there is an expectation that after you complete your 2 years probation as a resident visa holder, that you go on to apply for a permanent resident status. Applying for that permanent resident status will be able to transfer and change your travel conditions to a permanent one now. So you can go in and out of the country as many times as you like. It's very easy to meet this requirement to apply for a PR. You just need to be living in the country for at least 6 months in a year for 2 years, and then you can apply for permanent residency. That's just on the assumption that you don't be naughty and get into trouble with the law and all that, and face like deportation and whatnot, or like, be caught for drink driving, and then that's a whole different ball game, because you cannot apply for PR, and we need to suspend your liability and deportation. So that's a bit complex, and yeah, we are experts in those matters as well. But yeah, so if you're a good citizen and you live here for at least 6 months in a year for 2 years, then you can apply for permanent residency, where it's indefinite until you die, basically. Yeah. So I know what you're going to ask me next. So what's next? How do you get New Zealand citizenship? So New Zealand citizenship is when you've attained resident status. You've gotten that resident status for 5 years, and you've lived in the country for at least 8 months. 8 months in a year for 5 years.
Right.
Then you can apply for New Zealand citizenship. So again, it's a matter of how much time you spend in the country before you can actually apply for New Zealand citizenship. Yeah. So if you ask me, I think the biggest challenge would be getting the initial residence, because that's a bit more tricky. But if you are able to secure that, then it's just a matter of time before you can then apply for a permanent resident at 2 years, and then citizenship at 5 years of living here.
Okay, so like a time frame. To get a permanent residence, you need about
2 years, then you get PR.
Right.
If you stay on for another 3 years,
Right.
that's 5 years altogether.
Okay.
Then you get citizenship.
All right.
Yeah, so it's from the time you get residence.
Okay.
Of
So
visa.
in 5 years you can get citizenship.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. 5 years.
If you're a good boy and
You don't get in trouble with the law. Yeah.
You
Which
follow
I understand Romanians are, very compliant.
yeah,
They follow the rules.
Romanian
Yeah.
people, they like to be good citizens and
Yeah.
they don't create troubles.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. And I hear that family values is also a very big thing
Oh,
within the Romanian culture as
family
well.
is very important.
Yeah. Which is, if you're successful in coming here as a resident and you're worried about your parents who you've left behind in Romania.
Right. Good point.
So if you've got resident status and you've maintained resident status for 3 years, there are options of you trying to bring your family members into the country as well. There's 2 categories of the parent visa category. There's the parent resident visa category, and there's the parent retirement category. Parent resident category is another wage dependent kind of application. You meet a certain wage threshold, then you can put your parents' name into a ballot. So every year they're selecting about 2,500 applications for resident visa holders who have a certain wage threshold. And then if you're lucky and you get selected in that year, then your parents can come and apply for residency in New Zealand. The parent retirement category, it's not a luck thing, but it's a money thing. So if you've got 1.5 million New Zealand dollars to invest in New Zealand, and you've got kids here who are residents, then you can apply under the parent retirement category as well. Yeah. So there are options of you bringing your family into the country once you've secured resident status here in New Zealand as well. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good, because Romanians are very, very family orientated people, and the distance, as I said, is like too big to travel too much, so it's easier to be all together.
Yeah.
What New Zealand has got to offer For a newcomer here,
Yeah, yeah.
from the points of social welfare, school, health, and this kind of stuff.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So let's assume you come into the country and you're successful in the accredited employer work visa. You get 5 years of being in New Zealand. So with that visa, you automatically qualify yourself to be part of the public healthcare system. So meaning if you go into a GP and you want to sign up, you get the subsidized New Zealand rate. You go to your hospitals, it's basically free because you're part of the public healthcare system. So that's how much the healthcare system can support you. Yeah, you need to have a visa for at least 2 years, in which the AEWV gives you more because you're on 5. Then you can support, you will be able to, you get under the public healthcare system. Same goes for your wife or your husband who gets the partner visa for 5 years. They are also into the public healthcare system. Your kids as well, they're also in the public healthcare system. If you're coming here to actually give birth, if you get a visa for 5 years or more, and I know this because I recently just had a child as well, it's all free. Maternity services in New Zealand is free if you've got a visa for 5 years or more. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so everything from the start of when you get pregnant all the way till when you give birth and after that as well, the care that you get, everything is free. It's basically a whole year of free maternity services. Yeah, so, yeah, and a very unique system that New Zealand has, which other countries don't usually have. We have this thing called the accident compensation scheme.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this a bit.
Yeah. So whenever you are a salaried or wage worker, you're getting a salary. Part of your salary or your wage goes into payment of the ACC levy. So what is the ACC? This is basically a unique legislation here in New Zealand where it covers you in the event you come into an accident that you can't work anymore. So let's say, for instance, I had a friend who was working in abseiling, so come off the top of the roof and he'll wash and clean or like do water blasting. He came into an injury where he actually slipped and fell and like broke his shoulder. So obviously he cannot work anymore. So through ACC, he was able to get money from the government to support himself for a duration of, I think it was 6 months, where he couldn't work because of his injury and he was supported by the government. Yeah.
What about, let's say, okay, you have an accident, you require major surgery.
Yeah.
Who pays for the surgery?
You don't pay for the surgery.
You don't pay anything.
Yes.
The ACC pays everything.
Correct.
You have the surgery for free.
Yes.
And you have compensation after that to help you to get back to work.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So that's great. I had a broken leg playing soccer.
Right.
I was
Correct me.
paid till I got back to work, 3-4 months.
Okay.
I got a cut in my finger. I cannot work.
Yeah.
I'm fully paid for another 4 months.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it doesn't matter if you work or not.
Right. Okay.
If it's accident, cooking, hunting, fishing, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's an accident.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be work related.
Yeah.
If it's work related, it's just a matter for the OSH to investigate a bit to make sure it doesn't happen in the future,
I see.
or to minimize
Right.
to learn from that accident, to avoid it for other people.
Understand.
But if it's not work related,
Yeah.
it's just an accident, and
Right.
this can happen to anyone. Like now, on the street,
Yeah. Yeah.
car accident, the same.
Yeah. That's why I'm not an ACC lawyer. I'm an immigration lawyer. So wow. Okay. Yeah.
That is from my experience. The ACC is really good.
I don't think you have anything like that. It's difficult to find that kind of system anywhere around the world.
It's unheard. It's unheard.
Yeah.
But we pay from the salary all the time.
Yeah.
Week after week, some money goes to the ACC.
Yeah.
Like it's a must. We cannot see that money.
Yeah.
And the same tax. Tell us about the tax in New Zealand.
Yeah, so the tax, it's a bracketed scheme. The more money you make, the more tax you have to pay. But I'm not a taxation lawyer, so don't quote me on that. And maybe I have to come back to you on the exact rules on that. Yeah. Yeah. So whatever that you get at the end of the week or at the end of the month, that's tax deductible already. Yeah.
So, for example, if someone gets a job offer and on the paper it's $80,000,
Yes.
This is not the money which they get in the hand.
Correct. Yeah, it's very important that you brought that up as well. So whatever that you make on paper in the contract, it's not how much you're going to be getting at the end of the day. I think there are various tools online for you to do the tax calculation of how much you get and how much money you'll get in return. Do that before you make any kind of decisions of signing any contract, because that's how much you'll be making.
Right.
In New Zealand. Yeah.
Also, especially for the agriculture job in farming, sometimes in the salary it's including the house which is provided, and the house can be, the accommodation can be estimated to, for example, 20,000 per year. So you have 80,000, but 20,000 is the house, 20,000 is the tax, and you end up in the hand with 40,000. Ask the questions before to sign the contract.
Yeah, exactly. And just to add on as well, sometimes even vehicle as well. So sometimes that's
or any additional benefits like vehicle, work gear. Sometimes is not included. Sometimes it's included. Do you have in the top of your mind the costs of to get a work visa or a residence visa, or how much will cost?
Yeah, that's a very good question that you asked me, because just last year, the government increased all the fees. Like, it's just some doubled, some tripled. It's a lot of money. Okay, so I'll speak a little bit more about the government application fee. So how much you're paying immigration in New Zealand. So this is the money that you have to submit pay before you submit your application. If you're looking at a work visa, an accredited employee work visa, that's about 1,540 New Zealand dollars as an application fee to pay to INZ. If you're supporting your partner on the work visa, that's about 1,630, thereabouts, there and then. Then your children, if you're bringing them in on student visas, that's about $750 per person, per student. And those are temporary work visas or student visas for them to come and live in New Zealand. Resident visas, though, have a much, much higher visa application fee. If you're going down the skilled migrant category pathway or the green list pathway, you're paying about $6,450 as an application fee. But you are, of course, able to include your wife, your children, all in that one fee of $6,450. Yeah. So that's just an estimate of how much work and resident visas can be.
I suppose the citizenship is free.
No, it comes with a fee as well.
Yeah.
But it gets lower with time. Like once you secure your residence, you then apply for permanent residency. That's about just slightly over 325 or 315 if I'm not wrong. I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but somewhere in the early 300s. And then once you qualify for citizenship, that's $470.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's not much anyway. 400 is.
If you compare to 6,000.
6,000 is huge. It's big number.
Yeah, it's very big.
Anyway, it's like a commitment for someone who wants to stay here. Okay, you have to pay.
Yeah.
And then you commit to stay here.
Yeah. Because there are more additional perks if you get resident status here in New Zealand. One of the biggest thing that people want to get residence for is to be able to purchase property. As a resident visa holder, you can now then purchase property here in New Zealand. Either it's a house or a piece of land, or you can even put yourself down as a director or shareholder of a business too. This is something that you cannot do when you have work visa status.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
So you get more benefits as a resident visa holder. And it comes with, I guess, the cost of that too. Yeah.
There are opportunities for sure once you are a resident. I remember that's how I started. Early on, I bought a house, and then 2 houses, and then 3 houses.
Oh wow!
Of course, I had a company, and there were some tax benefits to have the houses under the company, and the salary working at the same time. It was good.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Seems like you've got investments here and there. We must.
To start, it's like
Of course, it's like a saving, but you have to pay for it because the bank interest and so on. You have to work to pay your interest and so on.
Yeah.
If you blow it on everything on cars and wheels, you have nothing for the future.
Yeah.
If you start right, in 20 years' time, you can make good money.
Wow. Maybe we should get you to do a video on investments, and you can give some of your ideas as well for the YouTube channel. Yeah.
And maybe good point. Let's talk about the Kiwi saver and retirement in New Zealand and the superannuation.
Yes. Okay. So with Kiwi Saver, this is like a savings fund that each person has in New Zealand. So once you hold resident status, another benefit of holding resident status, you can dedicate a small percentage of your pay towards your Kiwi Saver. You can choose either 3%, 4%, 6, 8%, that's really up to you. And then every time you get your salary, that percentage goes into your Kiwi Saver. It's like a savings fund. This is money that you cannot really touch, but you can use it to buy like your first home and all that. And these are basically savings that you'll get once you've matured and you've reached a certain age where then you can unlock the funds and you can use it as well. Yeah.
And I hear the government helps you with something towards this too.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're able to make some payments consistently and you meet a certain like a contribution to your Kiwi Saver, the government will then top it up a little bit more.
Right.
Yeah. So that all goes into your savings that you can use either for your first house or eventually when you retire.
What about your employer?
Yeah. Your employer, there's a percentage of contribution as well. Yeah. So it's all.
For example, I put $100 amount to Kiwi Saver.
Yeah.
My employer is doing something about it, or?
Yeah, your employer has a certain contribution as well.
Kiwi Saver is something which is optional. You pay extra, which is a fund managed by professionals to grow your money till you retire. But beside that, it's like a pension, which is named superannuation.
Yeah.
When you reach the age of 65, you can stop work, and monthly you can have like amount of money from the government.
Yes, that's right.
How much is that?
Yeah. So how they calculate that will depend on your living situation, like whether you have a partner, whether you're still employed,
right.
And all that. They'll have a calculation and they'll give you at the end of the day how much your superannuation will be. Yeah, so that's when you reach 65 years old,
right.
And that's when you can get from the government.
Okay,
yeah.
So that one is not related with your salary which you had in the past.
No.
It's just
at that
same number for everyone.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Correct.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah. It's depending on how much you're earning. If you're earning at that point of time, if the one person's working and your wife's not working, then the difference will be
Right.
Each household will get a different amount. Yeah.
So I can have the same money like the Prime Minister.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Correct. So to get superannuation in New Zealand, you need to have lived in New Zealand for a certain amount of time as well.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So you can only get it, of course, when you hold at least resident status. Mm-hmm. And then at the same time, you need to have lived at least 5 years of being in New Zealand after you turn 35. And you need to spend at least another 5 years before you turn 55 as well.
Right.
So you can't have a situation where you maybe spend all your time in New Zealand until 40, and then you come into New Zealand at 65 expecting to get superannuation, because you need to have spent at least 5 years from when you're 55 to you're 65 as well. Yeah,
that's quite good, because for example, a person who is already 50 years old thinks that, oh, I'm too old to make the move. But if you get a right qualification and you come here, you get a residence, you can get superannuation till 65. In 15 years, no problem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You don't have to work all the life. If you come at 50 years old, you can get no problem superannuation at 65.
Right. Yeah. You touch on a very good point, which I didn't actually mention in my explanation of the visa categories as well. So there is an age limit to when you can apply for residence in New Zealand. You have to be at least 55 years or below for you to apply for residence in New Zealand. So if you're 56 and above, you cannot apply for residence under the skilled migrant category or the green list category anymore. That option is no longer there for you.
Right.
But there could be options in the investor visa category options or the entrepreneur work visa, which we haven't really spoken about. But that's for residents. There is no age limit to the work visa though, the accredited employer work visa. If you're 70 years old and you want to look for a change and you want to come here on a work visa, go ahead, because you can still do that on the accredited employer work visa. Just the residents, you have to be 55 and below. The third one, that's an alternative pathway under the investor visa category or the entrepreneur work visa category. I think I'll speak about that later, because that's a different type of resident. So there are many ways of getting your way into New Zealand as a resident. Yeah, so we'll touch about that later on.
Okay, let's say that someone wants to buy a farm in New Zealand. They've got money, want to come here and buy a farm or open a business. What's the limit? What possibilities are here?
Yep, okay. So 2 visa categories come to mind here. The investor visa category or the entrepreneur work visa category. The investor visa category, lots of new exciting things are happening on that front, because the threshold for the investor visa category is now going to be reduced from the 1st of April. It was 15 million New Zealand dollars, but they're lowering it to either 5 or 10 million New Zealand dollars.
Right.
So if you've got 5 New Zealand dollars, you can invest it into managed funds. So these are funds that you can find on the New Zealand Trade and Enterprise webpage, where you can pump some money in.
The same like the KiwiSaver.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Correct.
It's a good fund. It's a great fund.
Yeah. So it's either you put your money into that, or you put your money into direct investments, like buying a business, for instance. So you can put that money into buying a business, etc., and so forth. If you're looking at the 10 million mark, those are investments which are less risky, like your government bonds, buying of like property development, etc., and so forth. Or even if you're wanting to donate, which it's money you cannot get back, you can do that as well at the higher rate of 10 million. So that is a category that's open to you, and it's going to be changing from the 1st of April onwards. And if you feel that maybe you cannot meet the skilled migrant requirement, or you don't actually want to come in to be an employee, you want to invest money in, then this could be an option for you. That's the investor visa. And we're going through some changes in the past. It was difficult, but now it's going to be easier.
Great.
Yeah.
A few words maybe about the house prices, rent and land prices.
Yeah, that's a good point. So depending on which city you're wanting to live and reside in, the expectation of the prices are going to be very different. Obviously in Auckland, it's a huge mega city. You have like 1.5 million people there across, crammed in a tiny place where traffic jams are always there. So house prices there are generally more expensive. Generally, the rule is if you go further out of the city, the cheaper the houses will be. So that's for Auckland. But if you go into different cities like Wellington, will have a different price market, which will be slightly cheaper than Auckland. And then Christchurch in itself too will be cheaper as well. So in Christchurch, you can possibly afford like a 2-bedroom house at the price of what a studio is in Auckland. So that's really more bang for your buck. You actually get a house and all
it's
that.
It's about half price in Christchurch.
Exactly. Yeah. I myself personally, I actually just moved from Auckland to Christchurch in 2023 because I want to get into the property ladder as well. Yeah, so I can say that it's a big difference here. In terms of living costs and expenditure as well, you're paying less in terms of like your fuel here in Christchurch. I think living costs in terms of like your everyday expenditure in like groceries and all that is cheaper here as well. So that's the thing that I notice between Christchurch and Auckland. But if you're looking for like a bigger kind of land, property in which Remus has, plenty of property all around the South Island, how close or how far away it is from the city centre as well. Yeah. Do you have anything to add on that as well? About house prices and
I'll say that compared with Christchurch, maybe tomorrow it's even below.
Okay.
So maybe it's like 25% below Christchurch, the Timor were,
Yeah.
And it's very good investment over there because the prices are moving faster, the gap is closing quite quick.
And recently as well, they just made the change on the interest rates here in New Zealand. It used to be really, really high. Like at some point in time, I think 5, 6%.
We reach 9%.
9%.
We reach 9%. I know very well.
But it's now gone down to 3.75, and I think it's going to go down even lower as well. So with this change, that means...
Sorry, you are talking about the official cash rate.
Official cash rate,
Official cash rate, which is a bit different than the bank rate.
Ah, right.
Bank rates are usually 2% at least over the official cash rate.
Yeah.
In business, in agriculture, even higher.
Yeah.
We are like farmers, we are hit to the highest rates.
Oh, okay.
Not sure why. Like to buy a house, now you get a home loan of 5%. To buy a farm, it's 7%. Always been like this.
Yeah.
And that's why it's one of the farmers' demands to level up a bit this.
Yeah. And plus, you guys have a very important job. You are, bringing in resources or rearing resources that New Zealand needs for the world.
Anyway, are the Romanian allowed to buy land?
You can only buy land after you've achieved residence status.
Only after residency.
After residence status.
Only after residency, right.
Yeah.
What about this special category, the investor?
Yeah, so investor visa.
Investor visa.
There's a 5 to 10 million kind of investment.
Right, because like a dairy farm to buy, it's between $5 and $10 million to buy a dairy farm. If you have the money to buy a dairy farm, you can get the residence.
Yeah, possible.
Yeah,
possible.
Through this category.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The other way of doing it would be to go down the entrepreneur visa pathway.
Yes.
So this is when you're actually creating a new company or you're buying over a business to invest in. But I have to say though that the visa approval rates for this visa category is very low. I would really exercise some caution in going into this visa category.
Right.
But if you're wanting to get some advice and wanting to find out how you can actually invest in, do get in touch with us and we'll be able to give you some.
Right. Let's come now to you.
Yeah.
How you can help Romanians who wants to come in New Zealand?
Yeah.
What service you offer to them?
Yeah. We offer a whole range of services that we can help you out with any kind of visa applications that you want to come here for. But we're having a special deal just for the followers who are watching this channel. We're more than happy to give you a non-obligatory free 10 minutes phone call just to discuss how we can help you. And then we're happy to give you a 10% off our legal fees as well if you want us to help you out in this process as well. So typically how it works is we'll engage you for an initial consultation where we'll find out what your visa pathways are, what we can possibly do for you, and then we can guide you along the whole process of how we make that application for you. So we be your representatives to Immigration New Zealand, and we make that application on your behalf. We'll guide you from A to Z of the process. So you just have to not worry about it and let us do all the worrying as we help you in that visa application process. So that in a nutshell is what we can do for you. And I'm really interested in looking to find out how we can help you in your way. Either, if it's making an application to get yourself registered here with a teaching council or the Vets Council or whatever kind of occupation you need, to even maybe getting your qualifications assessed, we can help you out with that, to even making your visa applications, this is what we can help you with. So a whole range of services, we're here to help you out. Yeah.
So if you're not just travel New Zealand and you want to come in and see them here, you know where to come.
Yeah, we're located in Christchurch.
Yes, we are in Christchurch.
We've got 3
big
branches.
buildings, 3 offices, 3 branches in Christchurch.
Yeah.
Big business, serious business.
Yeah, we've got one in New Brighton, Kaiapoi, as well as in Northwood as well. Feel free to come through and then we can have a chat and see how we can help you out.
And they are very, very friendly and very open people to talk with. That's very important.
Yeah, of course. And we really value this, as this is something that we take very personally and we value very highly. Like, we don't see clients as just a number. Right. If you're making the decision to migrate here to New Zealand, you're leaving a lot of things behind. You're making a big sacrifice here. So we want to be your trusted advisors throughout your whole process and giving you the right advice, the practical advice. Even if it's advice which you don't want to hear, we have to tell you that, because that's just our obligations as lawyers to tell you the whole truth. But yeah, we want to fight for your best outcomes as well. And if we see a way which can help you, then we are more than willing to go the extra distance to come and help you realize your dreams of maybe becoming like a Remus one day and having plenty of property and having your own business and having a really awesome life here in New Zealand. So yeah, this is the model to go for here. Mr. Remus.
Before to go, I want to thanks to Joy who done all the filming for us. So thank you, Joy. Good work.
Yeah.
Welcome. Okay. Mulțumesc.
Mulțumesc.
Așa, nu welcome. She started to speak Romanian a little bit.
Oh wow.
And when she's with me, she speaks a little bit Romanian.
Nice.
But as soon as she's back in English, she's back to the English,
Right.
Yeah. So
How
thank you, Joy.
Thank you so much, guys.
Mulțumesc.
Cu plăcere.
Cu plăcere. All
So
right.
how do you say thank you in Romanian? Maybe you can teach me.
Mulțumesc.
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 Mulțumesc. Yeah.
Mulțumesc, everyone.
Cu plăcere.
Cu plăcere.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
Cheers. Deci acesta a fost interviul pe care l-am avut la Pier Law, o firmă de avocatură din Christchurch cu 3 oficii mari, și l-am avut astăzi cu noi pe Mahomed, care a fost foarte amabil să petreacă o jumătate de zi cu noi, să pregătească interviul, să ne răspundă la întrebări, să ne facă cafea, și a fost excepțional de detaliat și de atent la absolut multe treburi. Deci îi mulțumesc personal și sper că v-a câștigat încrederea și sper ca să facă treabă bună pentru cei care o să apeleze la el. Mohamed, mulțumesc!
Vă mulțumesc. Vă mulțumesc.
Cu plăcere!